All right, with Trick or Treat underway tonight, it's always a good idea to take a precaution now and to make sure your child, your ghouls, and your goblins are safe. We have Sergeant Brian Walters and Master Police Officer David Nieves. They're here from the Virginia Beach Police Department to give us the best safety tips. All right, so gentlemen, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Big night, just a few hours away. So let's talk about the candy, because that's what all the kids want to know about. And really, you know, as a parent, you want to make sure it's already bad enough they're going to be hopped up on sugar, but you want to make sure they're going to be safe with the candy. So what advice would you give parents out there?
Well, one of the biggest things is it's an exciting time for the kids, and parents should join in and have fun. You know, take the time to go out with their children as they're visiting the houses, and you know, spend time looking through the candy before the kids decide to start eating it. And you may want to wait until you get home to do that. Right.
So not just immediately just put your hand in the bag or let the child put their hand in the bag and start eating all that sugar already. You want them to give them some extra time. So as far as inspecting the candy, Sergeant Walters, what would you have parents look for when they're looking through the candy to make sure they're safe to eat?
Well, you definitely want to make sure that you're looking for anything that's unwrapped. Should already be wrapped, and most people will be giving out store-bought candy. So if it doesn't look like it's normally the stuff you would take out of the bag, then I would definitely separate that and set it aside.
Right. And so Sunset, as we just found out from Tim, Sergeant Nieves, is coming up at 6:08 tonight. And you were saying an interesting fact. A lot of school buses won't even be on the road after a certain time, just out of safety, just an extra abundance of safety.
Yes.
What else should folks know as they're driving around if they have to be out in their cars tonight?
If they're not participating in the actual Halloween, or even if they are driving around from house to house, they should make sure that drive a little slower than you would for that neighborhood. So if it's 25, take it even to 10, even 8 to 5. Enough time to stop when that little goblin darts across the street, and because he's excited about going from house to house. They're really not paying attention to what's going on, and whether they're with their parents or not, it's so hard to keep track of them. So just make sure that they're safe by keeping your speed really low.
It's kind of our job to look out for them at this point, because they're just having a really good time.
Definitely.
You know, we'll get back to you in a minute, because there's certain things you should do if you're not participating, and we'll get to that in a minute. But Sergeant Walters, let's talk a little bit more about the safety aspect of things when parents are going door to door. What should they be looking out for as they take their child out, or even if the kids are going out by themselves?
Well, the first thing, you know, Trick or Treat in Virginia Beach, for instance, starts at dusk and it runs till 8 p.m. And if you're participating in that, we would ask that you turn on your lights so that parents and children know that it's you are participating in Trick or Treat and they can come out. We highly recommend that you take a picture of your trick-or-treaters before leaving the house, especially if they're out by themselves, because if we need to be looking for them, it'd be nice to have a current photo that was taken right before they left.
Yeah, and there's some other information we have on there. It's walk in groups, another very important factor. Parents should remember, if you're sending your kids out, you're not going with them. Make sure they're with a few other people, as a matter of fact, along with that picture. And we also have Check the Candy, which we talked about, and Know the Route. So you recommend discussing the route beforehand, before you walk out the door.
Right, parents should be discussing the route, not only with the parent who's accompanying the kids, but the one who's staying at home handing out candy.
Right.
So that we know what route that they actually were taking prior to leaving the house. And carry flashlights and maybe some chem lights with you, just to make sure that they are safe and can be seen easily by people in the community.
And Officer Nieves, so there are some people who will not be participating, and we're just a few seconds here, will not be participating, and what do you recommend if you're at home and you're not one of those people giving out candy?
Turn your lights off on your house so the kid doesn't dart across and knock on the door and no one's there. So, and basically he said, just keep the driving slow. Have patience. Have patience. It's a holiday for the children, and if you don't have children, at least be patient with the fact that these kids are having a good time. That's why everybody can be safe. And lastly, they can always be eyes, see something, say something. Keep an eye on the kids, even if they're not their kids. They can look around and make sure that there's safety's going on around the place.
Officer Nieves, Sergeant Walters, thank you so much for giving that advice. Such an important day. Those kids, it's the one time your parents can say, all right, go get some candy.
Yeah.
They normally won't say that throughout the rest of the year.
Sounds good.
Have a great time.
Have a great time. That's the most important part. Thank you, gentlemen.